Let me tell you about a turnaround story that I think could have a lot more room to run. I'm talking about Diebold. That's symbol DBD, the largest manufacturer and servicer of ATMs in the United States and many other countries, with a big electronic security business to boot. Here's a company that had been having a bit of a rough time, but after bringing in a new CEO in June of last year and then unveiling a major multi-year turnaround strategy roughly 10 months ago, Diebold seems to have really gotten its act together, stock rallying 28% since the turnaround plan was announced. Meanwhile, the company's posted a string of solid quarters, most recently beating the expectations handily when it reported in early August. There's still some naysayers. They're going to be convinced, believe me. Best of all, Diebold's paying for you to wait. They've got that juicy 3% dividend yield. Used to be 4. How did it get to 3? The stock went up. Don't take it from me. Let's take a closer look with Andy Mattes. He's the president and CEO of Diebold. Hear more about how his company's doing and where it is headed. Mr. Mattes, welcome to Mad Money. This is a pleasure. I've always wanted to talk to Diebold. Have a seat, please.
Thanks for having me.
Because ATM's been around for 45 years. And they're all been pretty much the same, which is I'm punching numbers. I hope the guy behind me doesn't look. I hope there's some security. Maybe there's a little hood over it. Yeah. It sounds like you guys have, for the first time in 45 years, reinvented the ATM. Can you tell us about it?
We've been the first company to combine mobile phones with the ATM. So you can pre-stage a transaction on your cell phone. You go to the ATM, you swipe your ATM, and you can take your money right there and then.
No more of the boom, 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 and people look behind me and try to figure out what I do?
No more pins, it's fast, it's secure, it's efficient, and on top of it, it enables a smaller footprint for the ATM, which especially for retailers and new branches that are being built on a smaller footprint is a very beneficial add-on.
My new Apple iPhone will have it? I can just load it, download it?
We are vendor independent. We can do it with Apple. We can do it with QR codes. The good news about Apple is it's going to drive the standards, probably going to be NFC. So we're very excited about Apple joining the party.
Okay, so where are the banks in terms of a rollout? Because I know the banks had a hard time for a while, but their balance sheets are better. Are they ready to spend the money again on technology that will make it so that we want to use our phone?
The banks have to solve a very tricky equation, which is how do I preserve neighborhood proximity, which is still the key driver for why I bank with a financial institution, while taking down cost, which means smaller real estate, less people. The only way to do that is through machines. It's called branch transformation, and that's where we come in and we help them in their quest to a new business model.
So this is also a consulting side of the business. You don't just bring you guys in for the hardware. You can be basically a company that reinvents their space for them. Is it turnkey, or you just advise them?
57% of our revenue is services and software. So we do the whole value chain. We do design, we do build, we do operate. We consult them, we manage it for them. We actually run the largest in-branch network in the nation. We've got 22,000 ATMs under management in the US alone.
Okay, now one of the things that I applaud you for is you've been very candid, and the most candid slide came from your most recent presentation, Outlook and Conclusion. Crawl, walk, run is how you've been putting it. To admit that you were crawling or that you couldn't crawl is to say that you've had other guys have had a head start or had gotten ahead of you. Where are you in the crawl, walk, run continuum now?
We're still in the crawl phase of our turnaround. We've said we're going to save $150 million of cost. We're going to reinvest $75 million in the business, 75 net savings to the bottom line. We're eyeing walk. We've harvested the low-hanging fruits, which came through. For instance, our service margins went up some 600 basis points in the last quarter. We're now re-engineering the company. We're re-engineering our back office. We're re-engineering our IT. We're investing heavily into services and sales. And most importantly, we're investing heavily in innovation and R&D.
Now, overseas, where are they? Because I know you've got a lot of very big double-digit growth overseas. Do they have a big entrenched old hardware and they're ready to do something new, or do they have nothing and you can be the original?
Both. In the established market, the UK is probably one of the hottest growth markets right now because banks were sweating assets for the last 10 years. So right now, they all have to upgrade. They're going to next-gen products. We're taking share in the UK, but also in the emerging market. Think about if India, for instance. They approached us and said, listen, we want to bring more financial services to the rural population. But we have a problem with power supply. So we invented the world's greenest ATM. It can run 3.5 hours off of a battery, can recharge on a solar panel, and this way you can use modern technology basically in the middle of nowhere in India.
Wow, that would be a big breakthrough. Now, I take advantage of your background because you know Oracle very well, been there. There was big change tonight, and I think it may not have been as big as many people are going to make it. This is Larry Ellison stepping down from CEO, going CTO and executive chairman, Safra Catz and Mark Hurd being promoted at the same time. My understanding from, and I have to admit I'm somewhat close to the company, is that that a lot of the heavy lifting has been done by Mark and Safra already, and that this is not a shocker.
You know, I'm not close to Oracle, but I know Mark. I used to work for Mark at HP.
Yeah.
He's an incredible guy, amazing level of energy, incredible attention to detail. He's great with customers. And under his leadership, we met or beat street expectations 26 quarters in a row at Hewlett-Packard. And I think he's going to do fantastic things for Oracle.
Right, and I think people don't. I mean, Mark is a very hands-on guy, and Larry Ellison's been doing a lot of different things. And when Larry Ellison's doing those different things, it's been Mark that, as you know, right, he's been in charge, basically.
Mark cannot do anything but be on top of numbers.
I totally agree with that. Well, thank you so much. That's Andy Mattes, the president and CEO of Diebold. This is a very exciting story. Very few tech companies yield 3 and have a growth path, of which the growth path, I think, is accelerating. Mad Money's back after the break.